it feels really weird to say that, actually. I haven't made a video in, like, it's been a month, and the last thing that I spoke about was making my 6 months, and I sort of rambled off, and I don't even remember what I rambled off about. I feel like there's not, like, when I was looking back at my old videos, it was just kind of like, there's not a lot. I felt like there wasn't a lot, and I know that's my fault for not being on top of it, but here we are. I made 7 months, I think about a week ago. Exactly a week ago, actually. A week ago and a day ago. Today's the 15th, and I made it on the 7th. And clearly my voice keeps getting deeper, so that's interesting. But that's not what I was going to talk about. I wanted to talk about today about makeup, actually. So when I first started this channel, I looked different. I was a very different person. I identified as genderqueer, and I was, like, very feminine, and, like, that was my thing. I was just a femme person. And, like, my biggest thing around that was that I still wanted to wear makeup and, you know, be taken seriously despite that. And when I started figuring out my gender, in terms of, like, when I started, like, figuring out that I was a guy, I no longer wanted to wear makeup, and it was a really big deal, and I made a whole video about it where I was, like, crying, and it was just, like, because I felt too dysphoric, and I felt like I wasn't gonna, like, I really wasn't gonna be taken, and, like, all of us, I wasn't gonna be taken seriously. I didn't finish my sentence. And, like, I didn't want to wear it anymore, and, like, I just felt really dysphoric around it, and every time I would wear it, or every time I would even go near a makeup store, or even go near the makeup section of, like, a CVS, I would get really uncomfortable, and it's just this, discomfort that I really can't explain, other than it was just, like, intense. And then, I don't know, at some point, I don't even remember what happened, but I know that I wanted to wear eyeliner, and so, yeah, I can't remember what made me want to do it. And so I'm wearing eyeliner right now, and I wear eyeliner on occasion, especially, like, if I'm dressing more masculine. I tend to wear it just because it makes me feel a little more androgynous. And since I've, like, started coming to the realization that I'm not completely a guy, I'm not a guy 100% of the time. Like, there are times where I feel sort of agender, or I feel like gender should cease to exist. And I don't feel like anything, and I don't want to be, like, seen as anything. But I'd rather read as, even in those times, I'd either rather read as guy or just as, like, a question, and so I tend to try to fit some kind of androgynous something. And that has been, like, wearing eyeliner. And I bought highlighter the other day. Originally it was because I was going to be a vampire for, like, this Halloween dance, and so I bought highlighter because I wanted to glow, and I wanted to be this, like, androgynous vampire, and, I mean, it was fun, and I wore eyeliner that day, and, like, I don't know, I felt good, and, like, so far those are the only 2 products that I'm using, and who knows if I'm going to venture into that world again, but it feels like a really big deal, because now I can go into the makeup section of, like, CVS or Dwayne Reed or whatever, because, you know, I can't be affording, like, Sephora at this point, but I can go into these sections and not feel super dysphoric, especially because most of the time I do read as a guy, and, like, people take me seriously as a man, and I really don't get questioned about it, for the most part. I mean, I've been misgendered, and, like, it happened, but it happens way less now. Like, in fact, when it does happen, I'm more in shock because I don't understand where it comes from. So I'm like, I know that I read as a guy. My hair is short. My voice is deep. And, like, I know this. And so when it does happen, it's just a confusing time. But that's where I stand with that. And I wanted to share that because I feel like it feels for me like a big leap. It feels like it's a big deal, because I went from not being able to do something because it made me super uncomfortable and super dysphoric to now being okay with it, or, like, starting to be okay with it. And I know hopefully there's going to be more things that I'm going to, like, be okay with. Like, I started, when I started accepting my sexual orientation, and like being okay with being a little more femme, like that to me was a big deal, because I really tried masking it up when I first came out, because my voice was much higher, and you know, my hair was longer, and like I felt like I had to not compromise, but I had to like be able to do something to like be read as something that I wanted to be read as. And now I realize how I really much influx, like I still have that, I guess, like girl habit or whatever of having my voice influx when I speak. Influx, that's a word, right? I hope that's a word. Anyway, like I notice when I speak, or I like, especially when I speak on camera, I speak with my hands. I don't really do that like with other people. But I noticed that, like, because I was watching an old video and I was like, wow, I really speak the way that I used to speak, except now I'm just like a whole octave lower, which I mean isn't a bad thing. And I mean, when I speak in public, I realize I tend to do certain things, like I will never cross my legs on a train. I say that now, but you know, maybe I'll be more comfortable later on to do that. Or when I speak with other people that I'm first meeting, I tend to speak in a more monotone voice, especially if I'm trying to impress someone. This is how I speak for the most part. But then on camera, I think I just, like, there's something livens up, and all of a sudden I'm talking the way that I do. And that's okay. And you know, that doesn't mean anything about like my gender. It just sort of just means that this is how I talk. And you know, gender is just, it looks different for everybody, you know. And the fact that we still have this binary, like, and you know, people expect there to be there are expectations for each one, but you know, I've learned that it looks really different for other people. And you know, someone's identity and the way that they express themselves might not exactly align 100%. Like, there could be a super masculine guy who happens to, you know, cross his legs on occasion, and like, you know, there's like little things, and it does look different. But I know for me, like, this whole makeup thing is important, and I wanted to share that. Plus I haven't made a video in 5 years. So if you've watched up to here, thank you. Subscribe, like, or comment. You can give an individual. If you watch up to here, thank you so much. Subscribe, like, or comment, and you can give an individual their wings. And if you subscribe, you can join my winged family. And who doesn't want to learn to fly? And until next video.